Hey guys, it's Brianstormed back with another video helping you guys out at becoming better at NHL 18. In this video, we're going to talk about scoring goals from pretty much anywhere. It's all about how you aim, how you position yourself, and how you take advantage of opportunities. But before we can get into all of that, we got to talk about the mindset, because you have to prepare yourself for trying to score these goals. Now, this is NHL 13. Back when I first started playing competitively, actually I started a year before, but this was all I knew how to do. I just kept doing this over and over again. I wasn't good, but it's how I won my games. And it was at that time I listened to an interview of a top player in the NHL series.
You'll understand if I don't come out from the shadows. My identity will be safest if you never see my face.
So if you want to become better at the game, you shouldn't focus on trying to score goals. Learn all the different mechanics of the game first. That way you'll be good at positioning yourself, you'll be good at moving the puck around and getting yourself in those really good scoring areas. And so when I heard that advice, I took it, I crumpled it up, and I threw it into my toilet. I couldn't actually find the interview. But there's just two different ways of approaching this. Instead, I'm going to show you my way of approaching it. I also know you guys wanted a face reveal, so I gave you a toilet reveal instead. Close enough, right? But what I focused on first was learning how to score the goals. Then I learned how to get into those situations to score those goals. And then I learned how I could fool my opponent into thinking I was going to do one thing, but end up doing another. All right, let's talk about aiming. In case you were unaware, with the left stick, you control where you want your shot to go. Revolutionary. I think it's only skill stick and hybrid. There's a popular image that has been floating around the internet last year. Decided to share it last year. Gonna decide to share it again. This is what separates Ovechkin and Stamkos from Getzlaf and Thornton. It actually doesn't. I made that up. But the net is a rectangle, not a square. Aim accordingly. I don't personally use this, but if it helps you, well, you're welcome. Now, this empty net with a tomato on its nose is what it looks like when you're not aiming, but you're shooting. You're shooting it straight at the goalie if there was a goalie there, straight in the middle. If you ever have an empty net, don't even aim your shot, and it will likely go in. There are 9 different ways of aiming your shot. If you push your left stick all the way up, you'll mostly be shooting at the crossbar. Usually not recommended because you can roof it easily, and the goalie has a head there, so it's kind of easy to hit and easy to save with. If goalies do not have heads, definitely shoot there. Up next is 5-hole. You aim down on the left stick when you shoot. I guess this is a good time to mention that you push up on the right stick to shoot. You're welcome. Traditionally, the 5-hole is not a great place to shoot in the NHL series because of how unpredictable the goalies are. But normally, they're good shots to take against stand-up goalies, or if you're on a breakaway and you're doing like a left to right or right to left motion, causing the goalie to open up his legs. I don't think you should aim there though, unless again it's an empty net. Up next we have the cookie jars, the top left and the top right. They're used when you want to elevate the puck over the glove or over the blocker. Most times you're going to be aiming here and it's very lethal. Bottom left, bottom right, you're shooting here because you want to get a rebound to one of your players, usually. Finally, an area that doesn't get too much love, it's under the blocker or under the glove. I think these are the most dangerous places to shoot because when a goalie lifts their blocker or their glove, they're usually lifting it up all the way to cover the top part of the net. If you aim in the middle, as long as they don't react too late, it's an empty net. All right, now we can actually talk about scoring goals. The most important tip that I can give you to scoring goals is watch the goalie. You guys remember that NHL 13 goal I showed at the beginning of the video? You can kind of do something similar this year, and this is what I started going for. But look at where the goalie is. He's so far to the left, and there's just so much bodies in front of the net. That left side's unavailable to me, but instead the right side's available to me. So I shoot there and get a really easy goal. We'll talk about screens in just a moment, but here's another example using one of my favorite trick shot goals in the game. It's the no-look shot, and the secret to it is I watch the goalie. The second he moves away from that post is when I decide to take the shot. We'll see this again later on in the video, but I felt like it was a good clip to demonstrate what I was talking about in terms of watching the goalie's position. You should also see where all the other bodies are so your shot doesn't get blocked. Now raise your hand if this has ever happened to you. You didn't actually need to raise your hand. I can't see what you just did. But do you want to know why this happens? No, you don't. Let's move on. But what happens here is the receiving player is not properly set up for this one-timer, causing him to whiff on the shot. If you have a lefty on the right side or a righty on the left side, you need to give them more time or have them stand still to get this one-timer. Notice where I'm aiming as well. I'm aiming to the right towards the empty net. Some people also have trouble with actually taking the shot once they receive the puck. Make sure you're not pushing the right stick in, as that will cancel your shot. If you have players on their strong hand, like lefties on the left side, you don't have to worry about this. This one-timer is just dependent on the pass, which I'll go over how to pass properly in a future video. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, giveaway, giveaway. Haha, now I got your attention. So one-timers on strong hands are more powerful during the breakout. Let's see what they look like when you're set up. Takes a little bit longer to shoot, and goalie can make the save much easier. So you have to be aware of this when taking one-timers. Honestly, if that person on the left was closer to the net, that would have been a significantly better shot. Let's look at other situations. Behind the net on the offhand side, set up, that's a goal. If not, just a really strong shot. In this case, on the strong side, weaker shot, goalie makes a save. So if you're playing Hockey Ultimate Team or Versus, keep in mind the way that players shoot. Curry, a right wing, I have him on the left side as a left wing because he's a righty. Bure, a right wing, he shoots to the left, so he stays there. I try to get all of my lefties as right wings and all of my righties as left wings. If I'm a little overloaded on one side, then what I'll do is I'll have my fastest players on the left side so that they can at least try to force a lot of breakaways even though they're on their strong hand side. Similar idea with defensemen. What you want to do is have all your right defensemen on the left side, all your left defensemen on the right side. Thankfully, EA has made it so that all the left defensemen are lefties, all the right defensemen are righties, so that it's easier to set up your lines. In Versus, it's not as simple, so you have to check which way they shoot yourself. And just know, while this increases your shooting and scoring for defensemen, it hurts cycling and passing, as it's harder to pass along the boards. Alternatively, what you can do is you can force your offhand defenseman to cycle on over. What I do is pass to him and then shoot towards the side I passed from. Despite this being a redirect, watch the goalie when I made this pass. He moves from the left and goes so far to the right, leaving the left wide open. Even if it wasn't a redirect, that still could have gone in. And this is the premise of a D-to-D one-timer. And very often, it will lead to tip-ins if you're using the crash the net strategy. Now let's talk about a few other one-time situations. You're going for a breakaway, you lead strongly towards one side and have the goalie chase you, and then just pass it to the person that's following you. The goalies will usually give you wide open nets. Another thing you can do is you don't have to take the shot immediately after you make the pass. You can take the pass and then skate towards the player who passed it to you and shoot in that direction. The pass usually freezes up the goalie to allow you to make a play like this. Here's my favorite highlight of this play, shown off in my Your Ultimate Team series where I do player reviews in HUT. It was gorgeous. Last type of one-timers are when you're curling in from behind the net. Goalie's focused on you and not the guy without the puck. And look at these nice passes yet again. Wow. Going to instant replay so I can show you guys what I was thinking. When I made this pass to the left, I noticed that my guy was kind of in a weird shooting position. If I shot this, it was going to be a very weak shot to the left, and it likely would have been saved by the goalie. I noticed I still had the option to pass across, and I figured that was the way to go for this forehand shot that was a little more powerful. Can't get a one-timer because there's a person in the way or a cow ate your puck? Well, have no fear because the rebounds are the way to go. The secret way of generating juicy rebounds is skating towards the boards when you enter the zone, giving your teammates some time to set up in front of the net, and then you shoot low and towards him. But you should only go for these when you kind of don't have any other options. Maybe they're forcing you towards the boards. Maybe they're really good at taking away the passing lane and the shooting lane. It's usually when you're on your strong side, but you can do it on your offhand side as well, but you have to curl inward with your stick before you take this shot so that it has sufficient power to be able to generate a rebound. If you go with a backhand, goalie's going to swallow it up, whereas a slap shot will be too powerful for your player to handle. Let's take a break from the gameplay. We saw this image in my how to play defense video, and we're going to use it again for this offense video. This yellow area denotes the high percentage scoring area. This is where most of the goals in the game come from. When you're in the offensive zone, you have to try to get into this scoring area before you take a shot so that it has the best chance of going in. Now let's take the same area and let's color it in a little bit. Oh god, I'm so sorry, I may have scarred you. That was last year's picture. This year, I have a newer version of that image where the high percentage scoring area can be broken down to 3 different sub areas. I wonder if I flip this upside down, is it easier to understand? Holy crap. We have got to play hockey upside down. EA, make it happen. All right, whatever. Anyway, if you find yourself in the green area, that area is where you can pretty much take any kind of shot and has a good chance of going in. If you find yourself in the yellow area, you have to take a specific type of shot labeled for a specific part of the net for it to go in. Usually, there are some exceptions. The red zone, all the way by the blue line, if you want to score from there, you have to take slap shots. Wristers are really tough to score from unless the goalie's being screened. So let's talk about some of those green and yellow area, starting with these cuts. In this scenario, I lose the puck, but when I get it back, look at where the goalie is. There's no way in hell I'm scoring that on the right, but he's leaving the left wide open, so that's where we're going to shoot. Let's go into practice mode and see that a little cleaner. When you're going in, usually on the breakout, you can cut towards the middle on your offhand and then shoot towards the side that you came from. Notice my stick movement. I move to the left, and before I shoot, I pull the right stick to the left as well to kind of like wind up the shot. When it comes to slap shots, similar idea, but instead of pushing left on the right stick, I'm pushing down on the right stick and aiming top right. So a lot of times you can try to set up D-to-D one-timers, but if you're not feeling it, all you gotta do is just skate around the person in front of you and shoot short side. Now back to screens. Here I'm trying to snipe it short side like I just showed you. I see a guy ready to block it, so all I do is wait a little bit longer and end up shooting far side instead. It doesn't have to be your opponent screening the goalie either. It could be your player. And that's how babies are born. I mean, that's how deflections are born. Here's another interesting screen. This entire time, I'm going to be the bottom left defenseman, and I'm thinking I'm going to shoot to the left, but that's a wide open net on the right, and I just cannot pass the opportunity to shoot right there. So always be vigilant of your surroundings, because there's no reason that this should not go into the net. Two clips a little out of place, but I'm going to show them here anyway. First one, I mentioned earlier in the video my mindset as to how I score goals. In this clip, it looks painfully obvious that I'm going for the one-timer, except I don't. I treat it like a breakaway and do a backhand, forehand, backhand. And you have to do that with all the different combinations of goals that I showed you. Cut to the middle, pretend like you're taking a shot, and instead go for a breakaway. D-to-D one-timer, instead go for a slap shot. Fake a slap shot, do a one-timer. And this clip just shows you how effective slap shots are in the red zone, because there's just no way I was gonna score this with a wrist shot. In most cases, when you're taking shots like this as well, you don't want to be standing still, but instead you want to be pushing forward towards the goalie. It makes your shots a little more accurate, makes them a little bit more powerful, and it's a better chance to score. The last type of goals that we're going to talk about in this video are going to be behind the net or near the net. These aren't considered glitch goals because you need to have so much time and space to do them. In my opinion, glitch goals are the type that are almost impossible to defend, and this isn't impossible to defend because it's your fault for not being here to stop me. They'll go in pretty often because what else is the goalie supposed to do? You can do it on your backhand as well, but you may need to go a little bit further out to successfully score on it. I'm basically just arcing around to the front of the net while on my forehand. This next one exists, but it's actually pretty tough to do. I told you guys at the beginning of the video, it's all about waiting for the goalie to move off of the post. I'm on my forehand again, but this time I'm aiming top right instead of top left, and it looks really good. If you're ever playing against a player goalie, wraparounds are your friend. Not so much against the computer goalie, because the computer goalie will almost always stop this. Thankfully, another good place to do it is when there's an empty net. But what a lot of people do against player goalies is they'll sit behind the net, force the goalie to go one way, and then just do a wraparound the other way. And to do a wraparound, all I'm doing is I'm aiming low. I missed the empty net on purpose. When I get around the halfway mark, that's when I decide to just push up on the right stick. And here's just what it looks like against this goalie that just happens to save it. Two more goals I'm going to show you guys near the net. But there are two types of goals that I didn't talk about, and those are breakaway goals and face-off set play goals. And I have videos for that you can check in the description. Alright, so this cheeky little goal, you're skating backwards from the end boards. You do that by holding vision control, left trigger L2, while skating to the bottom right. And you pull back on your right stick, force the goalie to come off the post before you take the shot. Borderline glitchy, but again, there's no reason you should find yourself in this situation by yourself. But if you do, you can do that. And this one is even worse, where you're skating backwards as well, but this time you're taking a slap shot towards the right. Goalie just freezes up and doesn't do anything. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be on the lookout for future videos, starting with the next one, which is going to focus on passing. Thanks for watching, and have a great summer. Wait a second, it's November. It's about to be summer in Australia. Boom, got you.